On to the next team, the Arizona Cardinals, who finished second in division last year. They were 11-6. They started out 7-0, so that means they went 4-6 down the stretch. Hollywood Brown traded a first-round pick from. They went and signed Will Hernandez, who used to play for the Giants, who a lot of Giants fans are very high on him as a guard. But they lost a lot of key players. Chandler Jones, Christian Kirk, Chase Edmonds, Jordan Hicks, Jordan Phillips. The Cardinals' offseason was rated by a lot of people as the worst offseason in the NFL. How much are they going to drop off this season? What do you think?
This is the team for me that's going to go 9-8. You know, I think we talked about it before for a brief moment. They have a tough-ass schedule. And this is a team that's, I wouldn't say got better in the offseason. You know, they did on offense. They're going to be missing DeAndre Hopkins for 6 weeks. When you're missing your number one guy, that's tough. AJ Green, Marcus Brown, Trey McBride, who they drafted, Zach Ertz, that's not really moving the needle for you. Kyler Murray's going to be good. You know, but the problem with him is towards the second half, he tends to drop off. The team tends to drop off. Cliff Kingsbury tends to drop off. And with this schedule, they can't afford to make too many mistakes, and this team doesn't look like it's gotten any better from the offseason. So for me, they're going to struggle. I still think they'll win 9 games, lose 8. They'll be right in the 50-50 mark. It can go either way for me personally. But I think at this point with that schedule being so tough, I don't think they'll be in the playoffs.
You can count 13 legit hard games for the Cardinals. KC, Las Vegas, the Rams, Philadelphia, New Orleans, Minnesota, the Rams again, San Fran, the Chargers. I think New England's also a tough game. Denver, Tampa Bay, San Fran again. That's 13 tough games. I think Arizona 9-8 is generous. I have them at 7-10.
Really?
I had them at 7-10 this year, and that's me being a bit more generous because I had them at 6-11 at first.
Swear to God, I was the same way.
I had them at 6-11 at first, but 7-10 feels like a bit more respect. I think Hollywood will be fine. I think that pairing, the collar pairing with him, is going to be good. But D-Hop out 6 games is huge, and in the first 6 weeks, you're going to be facing
you have
KC,
one easy game,
Vegas, LA, the Rams, Carolina, Philadelphia, and Seattle. 2 easy games.
It's at Seattle too.
Yeah, they
like,
could
that's not
be
a cakewalk.
2-4. They could be 2-4 by the time D-Hop gets back.
To start with the negatives, 100%, that defense I don't love. Secondary is not great outside of Budda Baker. Linebacking core, Golden, Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons been a little bit underwhelming, but you still have to believe in him. And on the line, you lose Chandler Jones. That definitely stings. But J.J. Watt coming back. Hopefully he stays healthy, but you can't really trust that
like
ever.
AB.
Yeah.
That is so well said. But really unfortunate because J.J. Watt, when he's healthy, is one of the best rushers in the league. We saw the difference when J.J. Watt was on the field versus off the field. The defense was completely different. And forget about the leadership because that is just already a given. But one thing and one thing only. In K1, we trust. As long as Kyler Murray is the starting quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, I believe in this offense. And we weren't looking at the Arizona Cardinals as a legit team because of their defense last season. We were looking at them as a legit team because that offense was prolific. DeAndre Hopkins being out for the first 6 games definitely going to sting.
Brutal.
But Hollywood Brown is going to be amazing this season. He is going to be a top 15 receiver after the end of this season. Hollywood Brown could put up 1,300 yards. He could have 7 to 8 touchdowns, 7 to 9 touchdowns this season. K1 is a passing quarterback. Lamar is a great quarterback without a doubt. He is not the passer that Kyler Murray is. In this offense, Kyler Murray will only make Hollywood Brown bring nothing but his A game every single Sunday, and it will be on full display. I firmly believe that K1 and Hollywood are going to be the breakout duo of this upcoming season, not named Jerry Jeudy and Russell Wilson. Absolutely.
Why should you bring up Lamar?
Because that was his quarterback.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
It's just a pass.
So
it
was his fault
pass
that
heavy offense.
it was a
more than
run heavy
anything.
offense. Is it Lamar's fault?
It's pass heavy. They
But
have Greg
I-
Roman.
Greg Roman.
It's mostly for the fact that Kyler Murray is a better passer than
Don't
Lamar.
worry, I'm gonna get him. I know. Yeah, you know.
Wait, but
So-
I'm not finished.
Okay,
All
keep
right,
going,
take
keep
it
going.
easy. In K1 we trust. We're talking about one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the league. In my opinion, he's the second best dual threat quarterback outside of Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen has solidified himself as the best. And that is 100% sound.
Josh Allen's a dual threat?
Yeah, without
He
a
had
doubt.
like 600-700 rushing yards.
He was crazy.
I just thought he was a big dude that could run, man.
But I am.
He's athletic.
He
I'm not.
led their team in rushing yards.
I'm not going to be
Is that
ignorant.
because
They have nobody.
He had
Yeah, they have a
700
running back.
yards though.
I'm not going to be ignorant to the fact that I don't love this defense by any means, no doubt.
They were 14th in their drive stats, 14th in defensive points allowed per drive, and 14th in defensive yards allowed.
They were really good last season, but going into this season,
who did they lose though?
They lost
Chandler Jones.
The secondary's mid. Chandler Jones is out, and he played a decent amount of games.
I know,
Yeah,
but
he played
but
almost
they
all
still,
games.
but J.J. Watt, Byron Murphy's not a
Buda
scrub.
Baker.
Buda Baker, Jason Thompson, or maybe Chris Thompson, the other safety on Arizona.
Mhm.
He's not a slouch either.
No, it's Jalen Thompson. You were
Jalen
close.
Thompson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Jalen, he's not. He's a very good safety.
Mm.
I think their defense is going to be fine. Really.
Then if you believe that, then I really don't understand where the 7-10 comes from.
because they have a really tough schedule.
So I'll go through mine. River, I'm with you, man. 9-8, I have pretty similar belief. The one game that could go either way, that it's either 8-9, 9-8, is that Chargers game. That one's going to be close for me. But outside from that, I have them losing both games to the Rams. I have them losing to Las Vegas. Have them losing to Minnesota. Have them losing to Denver, Tampa Bay, and San Fran that last week. But there's not many games. Obviously it's a half game, but this offense, I think, is going to win them a lot of games. I do firmly believe that.
The reason I say that is because in the second half of this season, they allowed 28 points per game after the bye week.
They were
In
bad.
7 games.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying.
They ended off horrible.
They
But
started great.
Overall, they were average because they started off as one of the top defenses.
JJ was
then
healthy.
they bottomed out. Exactly. So we'll see how big of an impact that is. I think they're going to lose 10 games because they have a very tough
Brutal
path.
schedule.
I don't
They have
disagree.
a brutal schedule. That's
I don't
really why.
disagree.
And you always like to mention, oh man, Lamar Jackson Lamar Jackson is not a better passer than Kyler. Kyler clears in passing.
He does.
Who's one of the best red zone quarterbacks in the NFL? Lamar Jackson. Kyler Murray struggles in the red zone mightily. Of 42 quarterbacks rated this past season, Kyler Murray ranked number 40 in success rate, number 39 in touchdown interceptions rate, number 38 in EPA per attempt, and number 36 in completion percentage.
Only in the red zone.
In the red zone, yeah.
That's important.
But that's very, very important.
I thought you meant the most important part of the field.
And Lamar Jackson is better in the middle of the field, too.
And outside.
Outside of numbers, he had the best dot in the league.
Kyler's got a deep ball in him for sure. But
He
Lamar has showed improvement.
But
I'm not saying he hasn't.
Lamar this
got
year
it.
is one of the better throwers of the football
He was.
Kyler Murray.
statistically.
Kyler Murray.
In terms of what stats did he lead in? A dot. I'm from forgetting.
I remember he was outside the numbers. He was number one on
Yeah.
Football Outsiders. I don't think he was number one A dot. He was high though. He was really high. This Cardinals team, I got them going 7-10, and similar to you, Joel. I at first had them 6-11. I was like, this just feels rude. This roster, I just don't really think is that good. I know you said you're really high on this offense, but I think their offensive line is going to struggle. They traded for Rodney Hudson last year. He had a down season.
I don't want to cut you off, but just to get over with the offensive line, it's been bad.
It has been.
It's been bad, and it hasn't been an issue because Kyler Murray's great.
No, I agree. But I think if you need your offense to win you games, because at least the defense was decent the first half of the year, I think this defense, I think they have the worst cornerback room in the league. I think the
Agreed.
cornerback room is probably the worst in the league. You
It's
do
bad.
have Buda Baker, who's one of the better safeties, but just to talk offensively, I mean, it's Kyler, it's Hollywood.
James Conner.
Who averaged 3.7 yards per carry.
18 touchdowns, though.
He's not, bro, is he getting more than like 10 touchdowns? I think he has
He
under
might
10.
have 10.
I think he has under 10. He's 18 touchdowns, an outlier. I think we both know
Okay,
that's
fine.
an
And
outlier.
also, Darrell Williams, he's a good backup.
He's a good backup, facts. But you can't rely on this offense, especially without. If Hopkins was healthy, I could get behind it with him and Hollywood. But without him,
another thing that I didn't mention was Zach Ertz. Zach
He's
Ertz
solid.
last season, when he came
solid.
to Arizona, he was their best weapon.
Yeah.
Sure, that had to do with opportunity and Hopkins not being there, and you not really being able to trust many of the receivers outside of Christian Kirk.
do you think it's the top 10 offense in the league? Nah.
No, there's a lot of good offenses.
That's what I'm saying.
Arizona was 15th in pass blocking this past season, 26th in run blocking.
Yeah, no.
Like, explains James Conner. I mean, James Conner's not really he's not the big play running back. He could get you some chunk yards here and there, but he's
in
not
the
very
red
efficient.
zone, you give him the ball, he can get
He's
in
a big body.
almost every time.
Guess what was the best, the worst stuff percentage in the NFL, like run blocking wise? It was Minnesota,
Oh,
number one.
and Dalvin.
Really, I'm surprised that Miami
top
wasn't there.
5 was actually Minnesota, Carolina, Chicago, Detroit, and Indianapolis.
Yeah,
Taylor 8.
yeah. JT was crazy.
Taylor 8.
But yeah, I got them going 7-10. I'm excited a little bit for their linebackers. They have 2 former first-round picks, David Collins, who oddly just didn't play a lot last year, and Isaiah Simmons, who's going into year 3 now, came out of Clemson being one of the most versatile players we've seen in the draft. He was someone who could play corner, played safety, linebacker, a lot kind of what Kyle Hamilton did in this past year. Unfortunately, he hasn't really figured out a role yet. At the end of last season, I did think he was playing better. They started playing him in the box a lot more. Early in the season, he was playing more like on the edge, not exactly rushing the passer. Did rush the passer, but just playing outside the tackle. Towards the end of the season, he played more in the box in the middle of the field where it seemed he fit better. So hopefully he could build on that because he had a lot of potential coming out of the draft.
Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins, both guys that highly touted, but they haven't figured it out yet.
Back-to-back year first-round picks on
that's
linebacker is
huge.
kind of crazy.
Yeah,
That's
that they thought Isaiah Simmons could transfer into safety, and he's
It's true. He was supposed to
be.
be versatile. You're right,
Yeah.
100%.
But Jalen Thompson's better player than him. They just haven't really clicked yet.